So today on this book review, I wanted to share with you a book that I read probably about midway through the calendar year 2019. And it's a nonfiction book, but it's one that a lot of people in offices are increasingly beginning to read, and that is The Five Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. It's really a powerful book, and again, more people, especially people in leadership positions, are beginning to read this book, or I shouldn't say beginning, they've probably been reading this book since it came out, but it's a really good one in here, and you can see that I did some work with some of the tabs right there, and I want to share some of the things that I picked up in this book. But before I do that, I want to ask you, if you could, hit the like button for the video. Also hit the subscribe button if you would, to be ready for future content as it comes up on this channel. Really looking forward to getting this channel going and picking it up and growing it as much as I can, to share with people the passion that I have for reading, and hopefully to be able to engage more people who also share that passion that I have for reading. So this one is a little bit of a departure. Even though I do read a lot of nonfiction books, this is going to be one of maybe not as many nonfiction books that I'll be talking about and reviewing on this channel. So again, The Five Dysfunctions of a Team. I'm going to read a little bit of the inside cover here just to give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on here. In The Five Dysfunctions of a Team, Patrick Lencioni offers a leadership fable that is In The Five Dysfunctions of a Team, Patrick Lencioni offers a leadership fable that is as compelling and enthralling as it is realistic, relevant, and practical. In The Five Dysfunctions of a Team, Patrick Lencioni offers a leadership fable that is as compelling and enthralling as it is realistic, relevant, and practical. Through his keen intellect and storytelling power, he turns to the fascinating, complex world of teams. And so the way that these books typically work, and I've read a number of Patrick Lencioni books. I've actually read 3 of them. One of them I've already reviewed in a video earlier on this channel, and another one I'm going to be reviewing after this one. The one that's coming after is going to be Death by Meaning, which is actually arguably my favorite. It's the one that I probably read the closest, and the one that I probably tabbed the most. Even though this one is a really good one, this is the one that probably Patrick Lencioni most came to be known for. So this is probably the one, when you mention that name, people that know him will probably mention this one first. So typically what he does is he starts off with a fictional story, a fable about a situation that he's going to discuss in the back half or back third of the book, where he goes into more of the nonfiction. So it's like part fiction and then part nonfiction, and the fiction helps you to maybe visualize and put into terms that you can maybe find more relatable as you get into the harder stuff in the back of the book that I'm actually going to jump right to, but not until after I've read the rest of the inside cover, so you can get a feel for at least what the fable is all about in this particular story. Catherine Peterson, Decision Tech's CEO, faces the ultimate leadership crisis, uniting a team that is in such disarray that it threatens to bring down the entire company. Will she succeed? Will she be fired? Will the company fail? Lencioni's riveting tale serves as a timeless reminder that leadership requires as much courage as it does insight. Through the story, Lencioni reveals the 5 dysfunctions that go to the very heart of why teams, even the best ones, often struggle. He outlines a powerful model and actionable steps that can be used to overcome these common hurdles and build a cohesive, effective team. Just as with his other books, Lencioni has written a compelling fable with a deceptively simple yet powerful message for all those who strive to be exceptional team leaders. And so I'm gonna jump really to the back. And what I like to do in these kind of cases is I like to talk about some of the things that I highlighted in the story very specifically, and start by reading them, and then hopefully you'll be able to either understand right away, or I'll be able to talk you through and help you understand why I highlighted a particular passage. In the course of my experience working with CEOs and their teams, 2 critical truths have become clear to me. First, genuine teamwork in most organizations remains as elusive as it has ever been. And that is true. And a lot of times people just have different agendas that really come into play and really make it difficult to have that genuine teamwork. Getting everybody to work together cohesively as a unit is just sometimes more difficult than you would ever possibly think that it should be. Hang on, right here, I'm gonna go to, I only have three areas that I tabbed, although this second area that I tabbed, you can see a lot of highlights right there in this second part here that I tabbed. And this is under the section Dysfunction Number 2, Fear of Conflict. All great relationships, the ones that last over time, require productive conflict in order to grow. This is true in marriage, parenthood, friendships, and certainly businesses. Now here's some of the things that I highlighted. Conflict is considered taboo, especially at work. And this is largely true. People just really try to shy away from contact and try to go, are hell-bent determined to go in a different direction, just totally avoiding conflict. But conflict can be healthy. Productive conflict can really be healthy toward finding the best possible solution for situations. But again, people just a lot of times don't want to deal with conflict. They'd rather just have everybody kind of agree, even if you disagree, just agree just for the sake of agreement. It is important to distinguish productive ideological conflict from destructive fighting and interpersonal politics. Again, those are the things that, again, are the impediments to good teamwork. Destructive fighting and interpersonal politics, ideological conflict is different well, to distinguish ideological conflict from destructive fighting and interpersonal politics. And so it's a challenge because there's so many things that happen in the dynamic of a team that makes things difficult. And in interpersonal politics, it's just almost unavoidable in most situations, and it can be very, very destructive, especially if it's not dealt with because you're worried about embracing or confronting conflict. But teams that engage in productive conflict know the only purpose is to produce the best possible solution in the shortest period of time. And I'll go into the next section. Ironically, teams that avoid ideological conflict often do so in order to avoid hurting team members' feelings, and then end up encouraging dangerous tension. When team members do not openly debate and disagree about important ideas, they often turn to back-channel personal attacks, which are far nastier and more harmful than any heated arguments over issues. And I find that this is largely true in most work environments. And I think most people would generally find that this is typically the case in these types of situations. It is also ironic that so many people avoid conflict in the name of efficiency because healthy conflict is actually a time saver. Those that avoid conflict actually doom themselves to revisiting issues again and again without resolution. So because you never deal with the source of the conflict, you continue to face the same conflict over and over and over again. And a lot of times people just don't get it, that you're continuing to face the same problems because you refuse to actually deal with the problems at hand. So one more section that I wanted to talk about here, and this is under the subheader, the role of the leader. One of the most difficult challenges for a leader who wants to instill accountability on a team is to encourage and allow the team to serve as the first and primary accountability mechanism. Sometimes strong leaders naturally create an accountability vacuum within the team, leaving themselves as the only source of discipline. This creates an environment where team members assume that the leader is holding others accountable, and so they hold back even when they see something that isn't right. And so when you have a quality team, you have the comfort level to be able to hold each other accountable, and hopefully that'll create a stronger sense of team with everybody feeling like they can buy in. These are the types of things that in sports they talk about probably more so than they do in businesses and other team type dynamics. And so in a way, sports can be a great teacher for a lot of people, for a lot of businesses and a lot of organizations. And that's a lot of what Patrick Lencioni is getting back in this book, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. So if you haven't had a chance to check this out and you're in a work environment where you might need to work on your team building and you might need to face the dysfunctions that are destroying your team play, your team efforts, this is one that you might want to check out. It's actually a really fast, efficient read packed with a lot of great information and a great story to kick things off and to help you get into the meat of the story, which is in, as you can see here, the back half of the book. But it's really well worth it. Again, a lot of people, a lot of leaders in training are increasingly reading this book. So that's all for now in this particular book review, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. If you would, hit the like button on this video and please subscribe for future videos on this channel.